Welcome to Tarot and Chill. My name's Nisha, and this is a pick a card reading to find out how you're doing. If you want to watch this to find out how someone else is doing, you're perfectly welcome to just change the you to he, she, they, whatever. But yeah, let's get into it. I've got 6 options for you to choose from today. Option 1 is this peach aventurine. Option 2 is some clear quartz. Option 3 is some amethyst. Option 4 is, I think, lapis lazuli, but this blue stone here. Option 5 is some more clear quartz. And option 6 is some carnelian. Trust your intuition for which group to go for. And your reading can be more than one group sometimes. And also, if you're not resonating with any of these groups, then feel free not to watch it. Maybe come back to it later and it might resonate at another point. All the timestamps will be in the description box, and I'll see you in your reading. Also, I want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed and watched my last video and all of the videos so far. I'm looking forward to making more content for you guys. If you have any specific readings you'd really like to see, please let me know. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in your reading. This is your reading if you chose the peach aventurine. Let's see what the cards have to say. Your song is Snow the Product, Myself, featuring Dram. Early bird get the worm, and it won't wait. Haters all getting sentimental. Remember I was working while you hoes stayed home. I was out grinding while you settled. Still helped you out, and I gave you all loans. Not my fault what you spent on. You have a Know Yourself card, which says, what sort of things have made you envious recently? And on the back it says, we're taught to be appalled by envy and never to feel it. But the things and people we envy, in fact, provide us with a very important map of our desires, which can teach us vital clues about ourselves. Keep a diary of envious feelings and allow an autobiography of your future to emerge from it. From the Ancestral Path Tarot, you have the Queen of Swords, the Moon. From the Thoth Tarot, you have the Knight of Discs, which is the Knight of Pentacles. And from the Goddess Tarot, you have Power. Let me just tune into your reading. I feel like either you're jealous or envious of others, or you're behaving in a way that makes other people envious of you, or maybe naturally your situation means that other people are envious of you. Because I'm seeing that you guys are very successful with the Knight of Discs and the Emperor, which is called Power in the Goddess deck, and also with the song, Myself. Haters all getting sentimental. Remember I was working while you hoes stayed home. I was out grinding while you settled. Usually I don't read this song as like somebody gloating. I see it more as somebody who's come up despite a lot of opposition and difficulty and people not helping them. And so it could be that you're that person and other people are just jealous of you because it seems like you have so much. Or it could be that you are kind of gloating and kind of talking down to other people and making other people feel worse about themselves. And it might be that you're doing this because you feel like you need to raise yourself up. And what I'm seeing in the Knight of Discs is somebody who has kind of puffed up their chest and put their back up. And like, if you are this Knight of Discs and you're really hardworking and disciplined and you follow through on all your plans, then you should be proud of yourself. But at the same time, you've got to be humble. That's just for some of you. I feel like for a lot of you, the reason you come across like this sometimes, is because you have very high levels of anxiety, and perhaps social anxiety in particular. And I think you don't want to show the vulnerable parts of yourself. So you try and kind of puff yourself up to make yourself look more tough, to try and protect yourself. And I'm seeing with all this armor here, it's like you don't want anyone to be too close to you because that makes you feel afraid. So it's kind of a defense mechanism. But yeah, I'm seeing you're very focused on success, and it might just be that you don't really want other people around you right now. And maybe the reason you're focused so much on success is because of feelings of envy of other people. And it might not be recent, it might be like a long-term thing where you've not had money, say, and other people around you have had money. So you've been envious, and that's kind of driven you to want to seek success. And I think you're finally getting to the point where you are successful. I feel like you're very focused on staying independent. And I'm seeing that could be a lot financially, but also emotionally. I think you're just trying to be independent and focused on yourself. And you're almost like trying to be selfish right now. But I think you kind of need to, like, you need to build yourself up for some of you. I think you're feeling a little bit cold in terms of your emotions. Like, you're not feeling super warm towards other people right now. I think a lot of people around you have been haters. And they are haters. And you're just trying to... You have your mission, you have your goals, you have a lot of ambition. And you want to focus on that. You're not really trying to concern yourself with other people right now. You have helped other people. You have been good to other people. But right now, I think the people around you are haters and they're not really doing shit. They're probably a bit lazy. And you're working really hard and you've helped people a lot. And now you feel like, well, do you know what? I'm just going to do me. I'm not going to think about you guys. I'm just going to make my own money, build my own empire. I'm seeing that you guys are building an empire. And maybe it is coming from a place of envy. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe it's just like celebrities. You're looking at celebrity culture. You're looking at what other people have. And you want to buy things that they have. You want to do the things that they're doing. Like, say people around you go on holiday a lot. And you want to do that. So that means you need to work harder to do that. So I feel like your mind state right now is just very much... It's very much just get money and build and create stability for yourself. With the moon, I think you stay up quite late working a lot of the time. And also get up early. I'm seeing some of you guys might get up when it's still dark and stay up really late, like stay up till the early hours and then get up in the early hours kind of thing. Just get a few hours of rest a night. Because you're trying to build this empire. And you're trying to stay on top of all your responsibilities and maintain your routine. Because your routine's really working for you, I'm seeing. Like, you're focused on quite small things, day-to-day kind of things. Keeping, like, your house clean, keeping your fridge stocked, paying your rent, that kind of thing. Which is super important, but at the same time, it's like, it's nothing super significant. But at the same time, if you don't do any of those things, you will experience significant problems. Do you know what I mean? So you should feel proud of what you're doing. And I'm seeing that you've been through a lot, and I think what you've been through has made you a little bit emotionally detached and anxious, and I feel like you're a little bit insecure, really, on the inside, which is why you're kind of looking at what other people have and looking at other people, and it's making you want to change yourself, and it's making you want to put all this work in to change your situation. But that's kind of it's coming from a place of insecurity. And I think we all have this same problem with like Instagram and TV and celebrity culture, with everything looking better than it is. We're seeing small pieces of reality, like a really good moment that's been really filtered. But really, you're focused on this day to day stuff. But in order to get through, I think, and in order for people to not see this insecurity and this anxiety, you kind of make yourself seem more proud and more confident than you are. And because you actually are in a really good position, you have built an empire for yourself. You have. You have control over everything in your life. You're on top of everything in your life. And yeah, it's not very fun. I'm not seeing a lot of fun right now. I'm seeing it's very much about work, about staying on top of things, about saving your money, investing your money, spending your money on the right things. But it's so you can be in a strong position and a position of power, so you can not feel insecure anymore. You don't want to feel insecure. You want to be in a really stable position, long term. In order to do that, you have to keep putting in this work day to day, every day, for the rest of your life. Which is kind of overwhelming. It's not fun. It's like, it's hard right now. It's tough. And you're kind of on your own doing this. Yeah, you're kind of on your own. But I think some of you might be kind of alienating yourself a little bit. But I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. I feel like it might be needed right now, this kind of self-protection, in order for you to get into a better situation for yourself. And for future generations, I'm seeing, not just for you. Let me see if there's anything else I'm getting for you. Overall, I think you should be really proud, but not too proud, because I think although it's really good for you to be kind of building yourself up and building this empire for yourself, and you should be really proud, I think other people's evil eye can affect you sometimes. I think you're quite sensitive with the moon here. So I think staying humble and kind of protecting yourself, but kind of trying to blend, I want to say trying to blend in a little bit and not, don't try and make other people envious, is what I'm seeing. Even though I feel like sometimes you don't mean to do that, it's just accidentally. But I think maybe be careful the way you speak. Sometimes be careful not to kind of gloat and just to quietly keep building, because you're building something really significant and it is going to be long-term success for you. And I think really what you should focus on is creating stability for yourself in order for you to feel less insecure and less anxious. And if you do that, I don't think you'll want to gloat to other people. I think your gloating to other people is like almost trying to convince yourself of this stuff, like, oh, I'm so happy with my situation, when actually you're not. And it's like you're trying to convince yourself. But actually the person you're speaking to is equally as unhappy in their situation. So you'd connect more with other people if you just said, oh, do you know what? I'm having a really hard time at the moment, mate. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want you to feel like I'm having a go at you, because I'm not at all, because I completely understand. I think we all do this, all of us. Especially with what I was saying about like Instagram culture and We're not sharing that. We're not sharing, like, I'm not doing okay at the moment. We're sharing, I'm so gassed. Look how great my life is. Look. Don't you want what I have? And really, I think the world would be a better place if we all shared more insightful things or things that would help other people rather than just trying to make other people feel worse in order to make yourself feel better. And actually, if you just keep putting the work into your life will be better, and then you will feel better and you won't feel insecure anymore. And then you won't need to, you won't care, like, you won't even care what other people think of you. You won't care if other people want what you have or not because you'll want what you have. Do you know what I mean? I think that's all I have for you, Group 1. I hope you enjoyed your reading. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you again soon for another reading. Thanks for watching. Bye. This reading is for you if you chose this piece of quartz. Let's see what the cards have to say. Your first song is Jay-Z Encore. Look what you made me do. Look what I made for you. Know if I paid my dues, how will they pay you? When you first come in the game, they try play you. Then you drop a couple of hits. Look how they wave to you. And then you have Ryan Leslie, Just Right. You're my cure, you're my remedy. So sincere and pure, said I'll never leave. I'll stay by your side for eternity, till the day I die. Because you're just right for me. I'm just right for you. Come and share your life with me, and I'll share my life with you. And then you have a Know Yourself card, which says, in love, what's your type? And on the back it says, the people we tend to go for may be attractive to us, not only for some very nice reasons. They're friendly, are into politics, or love sports, but also because they bring with them some special kind of trouble or difficulty to which we are especially prone. Most of us are involved in the compulsion to repeat certain sorts of suffering in our personal lives, normally based on the sufferings of childhood. From the Ancestral Path Tarot, you have the Two of Staves, which is the Two of Wands. From the Thoth, you have the Emperor. And then from the Goddess Tarot, you have the Two of Staves again. Double Two of Wands, interesting. I feel like there's a lot of waiting energy, kind of waiting. I feel like some of you are waiting for an ex to come back with Jay-Z Encore. I feel like you maybe feel like your ex was the right one for you. And maybe you're realizing that a lot of the problems that you had in the relationship, or maybe the whole reason you like went for the relationship in the first place was because of something from childhood, and you've kind of realized that and you now want to go back. And the other thing I'm seeing is somebody's just kind of waiting for, not an ex, but like you're just waiting for somebody. For some of you, I think you're waiting for somebody and somebody else is also waiting. So if you're a woman and you're seeing a man, I'm seeing there might be another woman waiting for him. I'm also just seeing that this energy of the Two of Wands is doubly strong, so you could be considering whether to stay or go in a situation. And it could be a kind of long-standing situation with the Emperor there. And you're trying to decide, and in order for you to do that, you're looking out at other options and thinking about what to do. And I'm assuming this is about love because of this card and the song Just Right. So yeah, it seems like you're thinking about what kind of relationship is right for you, and maybe you're realizing that you've gone for certain people for, like, in order to reenact certain things from childhood, and you want to get out of that cycle now. With Encore, can I get an encore? Do you want more? What else am I seeing? Yeah, I feel like you've met somebody, whether or not it's an ex, that you've just met somebody who you feel like is right for you. And I feel like you're watching them and you're not 100% sure if you should go for it yet. Like, it might be not that serious yet, but you kind of want it to be serious. I feel like you're excited about something and you're trying to make plans and you're looking to the future and you're seeing what options you have, seeing where you could go next, what you could do next. This could be online dating as well, with the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands, usually somebody has the world in their hands, so I always think of the internet, and it's like you're somewhere, but you're looking somewhere else, and you have a far-reaching view. So it could be that, like, you met a man online, or you're trying to meet a man online, maybe. And it could be a long-distance relationship also, I'm seeing. So it could be that you just have to wait a long time to see each other and you just want to see them again. Maybe. I feel like there might be too much waiting here. And maybe you should be more focused on being the emperor in your own life rather than looking for an emperor. Like taking control of your own life, building your own empire. I think a lot of you, if you're a guy, I think you maybe have two options and you've kind of chosen one and you just have to let the other one down now. Maybe you've just met somebody who's really your type. But then with that, you should think about why they're your type and why they seem right for you. Whether they actually are right for you or whether it's just because of childhood patterns that you want to repeat. I'm seeing you have a lot of ideas though, at the moment. If this is not about love, I think you have a lot of ideas for ventures and maybe like a business idea, potentially, I'm seeing. I'm seeing some of you just putting a lot of effort in to try and reach a high point, to try and reach a point where you'll be respectable and respected by others. If it's not about love, but I feel like for most of you it is. For most of you, I think you've just met somebody, you're really interested in them, and either you're trying to kind of decide if you should stay or if you should pursue something with them. Some of you might already be in a relationship, or you might have two options to consider. Or for some of you, the person you're interested in might have another option or somebody else. So, like, the times when you're waiting for the person, they might be with somebody else. And then when they're with you, the other person's waiting for them because they can only put their attention in one place at one time. But overall, I think you're just kind of thinking about relationships and thinking about what direction to go in and thinking about why you like the people you like. And it might be that you're trying to change that. It might be like that you're really drawn to certain people and you wish you weren't drawn to the people you're drawn to. So you're really trying not to be. Like, you're trying to take your eye off the sort of people you're usually drawn to and force yourself to look at somebody else because you now know about this pattern that you have. Let me see if I'm getting anything else. There's a lot of fire energy I'm feeling. This Emperor is very fiery. The Emperor is Aries, and then you've got the Two of Wands twice. And Jay-Z Encore gives off some fire energy. Ryan Leslie just right gives off some fire energy. So this could be like very high passion in a relationship. Or just in general, you could have found something that just makes you really inspired. And you're trying to build it, and you're thinking about how best to build it and how best to get it off the ground. So I hope that resonated with you, group 2. I'd be interested to hear from you in the comments, actually, because I feel like might be quite a lot of different situations going on here, and I might have missed quite a lot of them. So just let me know if you feel comfortable with that. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you really liked it. And I hope to see you again in another reading soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. This is your reading if you chose the amethyst. Let's see what the cards say. Your song is Janine, you deserve it. I'm glad you found your angel. I'm sorry it couldn't be me, but I never meant to hurt you. I hope one day you'll see that I had to find myself before anyone else, but I'm glad you found your angel. And then you have a Know Yourself card, which says, what did you learn about relationships from your parents? And on the back it says, humanity shows extraordinary technological progress in every generation because we understand more and transmit our knowledge effectively. But we don't make comparable progress emotionally because we're simply not sufficiently aware of what detrimental behaviours we've picked up in childhood, which we will, unless we are very self-aware, recreate in our adult years. Try to unpick yours before you play them out. From the Ancestral Path Tarot, you have the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Sacred Circles, which is the Ten of Pentacles. From the Thoth Tarot, you have the Two of Swords, which is called Peace. And then you have the Seven of Pentacles from the Goddess Tarot. This is an interesting reading. I think there's a lot of reflection happening here, and I think no matter what the situation, I think you're thinking about your past and you're kind of taking some alone time to do that. I think for some of you, you might be parents, like maybe you're newly parents, or maybe your parents and your children have kind of grown up now. But I think you're thinking about either how you did as a parent or how you will do as a parent, and kind of comparing that to your own childhood and thinking about how your childhood caused certain things. I think some of you feel really sorry. Maybe some of you are realizing that you didn't do the best job as parents, and you feel really sad. I feel like for some of you, this is very specific, but I feel like for some of you kind of partied a lot. Maybe when you were young, maybe you had kids really, really young, and you partied a lot, and you kind of weren't watching your children enough. This is very specific. I'm sorry. If it doesn't resonate with you, please ignore it. But I've never noticed this before, but I'm just noticing these people in the back. And I'm also seeing maybe you feel like you neglected your parents. Maybe if it's not that you're a parent and you feel like you neglected your children and you feel bad about it and you're reflecting now on how you could have done better. But I think even if that's you, I think you did provide your children with a stable upbringing. You provided them with money and a roof over their heads and food. And I feel like they probably would understand as adults. So if they're not adults yet, I feel like when they're adults, they'll understand. Like maybe it's a teenager. Maybe you have a teenager and you feel like maybe they were affected by certain things that you might have done. This is very specific. For some of you, I feel like this is about a relationship and you're kind of thinking about the things you would do differently now and thinking about how your childhood affected how you acted in this relationship, and maybe you were like repeating your parents' relationship and what you saw in early years. And maybe your ex has kind of moved on now and you're feeling quite sad about that. But I think this is a beautiful reading because even though I feel like maybe you guys did do some things which you're not so proud of, but you are very self-aware. At least now. Maybe you weren't always. Maybe you were at one point trying to cover up. Maybe wounds from your childhood you were trying to cover up with alcohol and partying and distraction and a lot of people. And now I feel like you're not doing that anymore. You've got really clear headed with the Two of Swords here, and you're kind of detached from that stuff in order to think and reflect. And I think even though you might have made some mistakes, you really didn't do badly. And with the Amethyst here, I think everything you've been through, you've learned from it. You've developed as a person. I think you've become the sort of person who does reflect on your actions and who does try and improve. And I think you reflect back and you think what worked, what didn't work, what did I do well, what didn't I do well. And I also think right now you're just trying to detach a little bit from the material world and from these distractions. It's kind of a two-part reading. I think that's for a lot of you. And I think for some of you you've not come out of this kind of partying yet, and you're still very much focused on the material world, but you're starting to transition out of being really focused on material wealth, first of all, and measuring everything by that. And also partying and distracting yourself with fun things and pleasure. I think you've come out of that because you're kind of starting to address some of the things that you've done wrong or that you're not so proud of, or maybe things that didn't go so well in your childhood that you don't want to repeat. Maybe some of you are pregnant or your partner's pregnant and you're going to be a father or a mother, and now you're starting to think about the things you've done wrong and what you would do differently if you could go back. But I'm seeing this as a really positive process for you guys, this process of reflection. And I think if you go through with this process of reflection and don't drink your problems away, don't distract yourself, don't party and avoid going through this. Take the time out, take the time for yourself, and really reflect and think about how you can avoid repeating certain cycles that you don't want to repeat. And maybe apologize to certain people as well if you have actually hurt somebody, I'm seeing. But in general, I think you guys are still having fun, even if you are kind of detaching from the world. I think you have a lot of dreams and goals, and you're kind of making things happen right now, despite the fact that you're at a pause and you're not being too active, but things are still happening, which is really nice. And I think I want to say you deserve it. You deserve all the blessings that are happening to you. You really do. Despite any feelings of guilt you might have about things you've done wrong in your past, like I said, you've evolved spiritually and emotionally. And the fact that you can even say, yes, I did some things wrong, I'm not so proud of some of the things I did, that in itself means that you're a very good person. Because if you weren't, then you'd say, no, I'm perfect. I was always right in every situation, which none of us were. Of course we weren't. And just accepting when you did wrong and trying to do better next time, that in itself is healing. That in itself kind of makes things better in a way, as long as you actually are willing to do the work and actually change things going forward, which I'm seeing that you will be once you've gone through this process. I think some of you are just going through a process of finding yourself now. And part of that involves looking back, and part of that involves you being very much in the moment and enjoying your present experiences. It's a balance between you creating a reality that's better for yourself than your past and reflecting on that past to learn from it. And that process will help you to find yourself. I think some of you can maybe speak to your parents and it might help. It might help. Let me see if I have anything else for you. Group 3. I feel like you guys have found something. For some of you guys, I think you found a relationship that's really worth investing in, that you think will be a stable long-term, somebody who will be a stable long-term prospective partner. And it's like you're still considering it right now. I feel like you don't feel ready to be in a relationship. I feel like you don't feel like you're the right person for this person. For some of you. But I think after this reflection process and after this healing process, you'll be able to develop that confidence in yourself to feel like you can be with the person you want and that you are good enough for them. I'm seeing you're very focused on building for yourself, on the material world. Yeah, you're putting in effort, whatever it is, whether it's just to heal yourself, or whether you're putting in effort to material goals, or whether it's like a new relationship or you've recently become a parent. I'm seeing that strongly actually. A lot of you have recently become parents. And you're building this family and it's making you really happy, but at the same time you're looking back. But I think a lot of you are kind of waiting for something as well. I'm seeing. You might be waiting for something to pay off. Or waiting to see the effects of something. Like maybe you feel bad about something. Maybe if your children are still young and maybe you weren't the best parent at the beginning, you're kind of waiting to see whether the positive changes you'll make will pay off or whether the things that went wrong will have an impact. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's kind of waiting to see. This is I think this is one of those readings where I would definitely say look at these cards and see what the individual message is for you and think about your relationship with your parents and what the situation is for you, because I think it will be very unique for each person. But overall, I'm seeing that you guys have a lot of fun in your life, even if you don't always see it and even if you don't always partake in it. There is fun and there is success. But I think you maybe need more time to reflect at the moment, and this is kind of a distraction. It might feel like a distraction right now. And some of you might feel kind of unworthy of other people because of some stuff in your path. Not just like romantic relationships, but in general, you might feel kind of unworthy. And you might keep things quite shallow and kind of shut people out because of that. I hope that resonated with you, Group 3. Please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you again soon for another reading. Thanks for watching. Bye. This reading is for you if you chose this blue stone. Let's see what the cards say. Your song is Doja Cat So High. He waving and I'm drunk. I got dank shit in my cup. You know what I'ma do to you. I could get real used to you. Blow, weed, X, and we sipping on that juicy juice. That's just what she choose to do. Shit, these drugs will do to you. Without thinking at all, say the first thing that comes into your mind when you hear the following words. House, skirt, carrot, wool, lock, film, shoot. We get so good at not saying what we feel and think, we need to surprise our minds into telling us what they're concerned with. Tease out your responses for indications of fears and desires. From the Ancestral Path Tarot, you have the Ten of Staves, the Eight of Staves. From the Thoth, you have Seven of Swords, which is called Futility, and the Eight of Swords, which is called Interference. And then from the Goddess Tarot, you have the Three of Cups. You guys seem to be very burdened with responsibilities right now with the Ten of Wands. And I think with the Eight of Wands, you're really, really busy. I think you have a lot to do, and it's very tiring. I think you're really passionate about whatever this is. But at the same time, there's a sense of being trapped with the Eight of Swords here. And with the Seven of Swords, I feel like you kind of want to run away from your responsibilities. I feel like you want movement and you're kind of stuck completing tasks rather than being able to move quickly. And in order to escape that feeling, because I feel like you can't actually physically run away right now, some of you might actually be able to and be considering it. But for most of you, I think you can't. And the way you're escaping is perhaps by alcohol or drugs of some description. With the Song and the Three of Cups, I feel like to escape your reality, you sometimes indulge in these kind of things. It could even be, like, say you're married. Maybe you occasionally have affairs because you want to escape your reality, and maybe you're unhappy in your marriage, really, but you feel like there's no escape, you're not allowed to escape, even though really you want to run away. But you feel stuck. You can get more meaning. I mean, if you do this exercise, it might be interesting for you. I can't do it for you. I mean, I can try and do it for the collective and see what comes up. I mean, out of my head, this escapism, because when I'm looking at the shoot, like, I've done this exercise by myself and this is not what I would have come up with, but shoot, I'm thinking like heroin, like shooting up. I don't know why, but, and lock, I feel like trap rather than, usually I would have thought key, lock, key. But now I'm thinking lock, trap, trapped, lockdown. So maybe some of you feel locked down with your responsibilities. Maybe it's a job. You feel like you just hate your job, but you're stuck. And so you escape with drugs and alcohol. Like, it doesn't have to be drugs and alcohol, but just escapism. Some form of escapism. It could be like you go out with your friends all the time and imagine that you have a different life. Or maybe you have casual sex and that's fun for you and it gives you a sense of release from your problems. And then you feel like you can stay because you're having this fun to release from this stress that you're feeling. With the Ten of Wands, I think you've been really burdened and tired and overwhelmed. And maybe taking on too much of other people's responsibilities as well as your own. I feel like you might have just been trying to do everything yourself because other people maybe aren't helping. I'm being really drawn to this adorable, look how adorable this baby is. Oh my god, look how cute. Oh, and this little boy. Oh, so maybe you have little kids and maybe you're doing all the work. Maybe your partner's not pulling their weight and you're having to do everything and your partner's just kind of chilling. And you're like cooking and cleaning and going to buy the food and changing the diapers and going to take the kids to school. You're doing everything and your partner's kind of chilling. And you feel like, well, I deserve these little escapes then. I deserve to go out with my friends. When I get a night out, when I get a night off, I'm going to go out and drink, get really drunk with my friends. I feel like you can't. For some of you, I think this escapism is partly because you can't even face, like, how unhappy you are with your situation. In some cases, I feel like you can't even, like, you're just forcing your thoughts down almost with the 7 and 8 of Swords. It's like the 7 of Swords, you're having these thoughts of like wanting freedom, but then the 8 of Swords, you're just trapping them before they even. With the 8 of Staves as well, I'm seeing this desire for like release from your responsibilities, and you might not be able to release from your responsibilities. Like if it's children, you can't escape from having children. Once you've got them forever. But maybe you can talk to your partner so that things free up a little bit for you, so that you don't feel so overwhelmed and so busy, and so it's more equal. Maybe. I think for you guys, it's important for you to have fun right now. I think it's important for you to kind of loosen up because you are really overwhelmed. So if you do get the chance, then it would be good for you to have fun and see your friends and do things that make you feel happy. Because there's a lot on your plate, and you've got a lot on your mind as well, I'm seeing, with the 7 and 8 of Swords. And I feel like this is like a development of problems, like things are kind of getting worse for you. And maybe you have been denying it and you kind of can't deny it anymore despite trying to escape. Maybe instead of mentally escaping, you need to physically work to release things a little bit, release this burden that you're carrying, in order for you to be able to celebrate, actually celebrate, rather than just drinking, for example, like just actual celebration and feeling a sense of happiness with your life. Yeah, I feel like you want to release this energy. It's like, I feel like you're tired because things are kind of stagnant for you. And you're in this routine that feels overwhelming and you've got too much responsibility. It's like an over responsibility, which is why you want to escape. The only escape you get is like when you're drunk or when you escape from your thoughts, say. And I think part of the escapism is definitely to push down these thoughts that you can't confront. You feel like you can't confront because there's no escape from your responsibilities. So you can't even think about how unhappy you are. You have to just pretend to be happy. I feel like a lot of you need to take the blindfold off with the 8 of Swords there and kind of realise. And if it is the case of you're just doing too much and the other people around you are not taking responsibility, then it might be a case of needing to communicate rather than keeping it all to yourself and escaping. Or it might be that you need to actually physically escape rather than just mentally and emotionally escaping. If your situation's that oppressive and if you're really being taken advantage of and taken for granted and you're really depressed. I hope that resonated with you, Group 4. Please let me know in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope to see you again soon for another reading. Thanks for watching. Bye. This is your reading if you chose the second piece of clear quartz. See what cards you have. Your song is 6-7. She wants. She wants a bad man that smokes enough weed. She wants a bad man that makes enough pee. She wants jewels and handbags. Sorry, B, you ain't gonna get that from me. I'm buying up whaps. I got too much beef in these dirty streets. And your Know Yourself card says, make a list of some people who really bug you. And on the back it says, might you ever have experienced, however fleetingly, a sexual attraction of any kind towards any of them? An attraction that it's hard to deal with for whatever reason. Perhaps they have a partner, would reject you, or challenge your stated sexual orientation. Irritation should always intrigue us about ourselves. From the Ancestral Path Tarot, you have the Prince of Swords, which is the Knight of Swords, and the King of Sacred Circles, which is the King of Pentacles. From the Thoth Tarot, you have the Three of Cups, which is called Abundance. And then from the Goddess Tarot, you have the King of Staves, King of Wands. I feel like a lot of you have beef with people around you. I'm seeing it could be beef over your finances, financial situation. Like it could be your boss or your employer. I'm seeing it could be that you need to defend yourself. You need to argue with somebody over something in order to stay in control of your abundance, of your situation. And I'm also seeing potential for like a conflict because of a third party relationship. Especially I think if you're a gay man, I'm seeing there could be 3 men involved in this relationship. And that's causing some conflict and competition. Or maybe it's like 3 men interested in the same woman, say. And that's causing conflict. I'm seeing the people around you are irritating you. There's like specific people around you that are irritating you. Or somebody in your environment who's just causing conflict. And maybe it's one person who's causing conflict so that other people stop getting on. Yeah, I think for some of you, you're kind of attracting bad people, and you are maybe attracted to the wrong kind of people. Especially if you're a woman, I think you might be attracted to bad men. Maybe. Like you might be attracted to people because of money, like because they what they can give you, and maybe they're not even actually going to give you anything. I think some of you are kind of being a bit selfish and not wanting to give to anyone. And that's causing conflict because you kind of, I think maybe you just want your own space. And it's like there's too many people around you. And you just want some peace and alone time. And it's like there's all these people here for some of you. Some of you, I think you are smoking a lot of weed, some of you. Some of you might smoke weed and you're smoking a lot of weed. I'm not judging you if you are. That's up to you. But yeah, I feel like you're irritated. There's like an irritated, kind of stressed energy. I feel like there's a lot of disagreements between people at the moment. Like people who just don't see eye to eye. There's a Prince of Swords type person who is very quick to anger. He thinks a lot and he's very direct and blunt. And then the King of Pentacles person, which could be like a boss or a business partner, he's very calm and composed. He's a lot slower. This guy is really quick, the Knight of Swords. He thinks, but he kind of like rushes in despite the fact that he thinks, but he just thinks so quickly and gets really impassioned. Whereas this guy would need to see practical evidence, for example. And then we've got this King of Wands guy who is more focused with like overseeing everything. And he's more focused with what's good in the future. He has a very long-term view. So I feel like these two kings, they work reasonably well together. Like they're both chilling. They're both already in quite a strong position. So they're not really worried. They're just trying to stay calm. But this guy, the Prince of Swords, he kind of has something to prove. So he's doing a lot. So this could be you, or you could be one of these two kings, and this guy's causing problems for you. Only you will know which one. But I feel like it's you being bugged by other people. So it might be that these two kings maybe are blocking your abundance in some way. Because these two kings are quite, like, they already have a lot and they're quite controlling. So say it's your boss and they're in some way blocking you from achieving more, like blocking you from getting a promotion, blocking you from doing better. You might be like really trying to think of ways of how to get around that. Yeah, I do feel like if this is you, if you're the Prince of Swords guy, I feel like you might just be rubbing other people up the wrong way a bit. In some cases, you might really have something to prove and it might be worth proving. I think if it involves money, if it involves your abundance and your stability. But I think if you're just like causing conflict for no reason, then that might be blocking your abundance. The fact that you're being hot-headed. And it might be better for you to channel these kings who, they're chilling, they're just focused on building their empires. They're not looking at what other people are doing. I would say if other people are annoying you, try and focus less on them and focus on your own future instead, is what I would say. And if you're a woman, I feel like you have a lot of options. You have or if you're into men, I should say, you have a lot of male suitors and a lot of choices. And I feel like you might be tempted to go for the one who seems like they would offer you finances, but I want to say to you that they probably won't actually offer you anything. It might be all talk. I'm seeing there's a lot of opportunities for fun as well happening at the moment. It's just that like when you do socialize or when you do go to these social events, there might be people who you clash with there. So group 5, I hope you enjoyed your reading. I hope it resonated with you. Please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon for another reading. Thanks for watching. Bye. This reading is for you if you chose the Carnelian. Let's see what cards you have. Your song is Tinashe, Cold Sweat. I like being alone. Come out here, spend plenty of time on your own. 'Cause the city ain't kind to the people who sign up for judging but can't take none. Complacent. This ain't a place to be making friends. They all got agendas. These eyes on your back, fangs in your neck. I love Tinashe. Queen. I think she's super underrated personally. You can argue in the comments if you want. If you consider yourself dispassionately, what might you warn a friend about if they were thinking of starting a relationship with you? There's a lot we can do once people are able to tell us what's problematic about themselves. We don't need people to be problem-free. We need people to be able to explain where the problems are and how they operate. From the Ancestral Path Tarot, you have the Ace of Sacred Circles and the Two of Sacred Circles. From the Thoth Tarot, you have the Six of Cups, which is called Pleasure. And from the Goddess Tarot, you have the Princess of Staves. I feel like you guys are kind of avoiding relationships with people, and I feel like the people around you might be a little bit shady. Not shady, but just, I think, a bit bitchy and complainy, judgmental. People who don't like you, I'm seeing. I'm seeing the people around might not like you much. And I feel like you might You might sometimes behave in a way where it makes them like you less, but I feel like you shouldn't really care about whether they like you or not, because at the end of the day, they've got agendas. If they are trying to, like, when you can tell somebody's being nice to you because they want something from you. I feel like you have a lot of those kind of people around you. I feel like you have a lot of yes men. You have a lot of people that just want you because of what you can give to them. And actually, you probably really like time alone. I'm seeing you're a very creative person. And I'm seeing you do have solid relationships with friends and family. And people who you're genuinely spiritually connected with. People who genuinely care about you and don't just call you because they want something from you. They call you because they actually love you. So you don't need all these fake people around you to like you. But at the same time, I think you should think about yourself and think about your own negative qualities. And you probably are thinking about your own negative qualities. And that might be for some of you why you like being alone. Maybe some of you feel like other people wouldn't like you and you're kind of afraid of being judged because you always judge yourself and you think other people will see the same things. But I'm seeing that it's okay, and like everyone judges, not everyone, some people are really cool. But most of us have judgmental people around us, and most of us are judgmental of ourselves, and most of us are judgmental of others quite often. So I think it's important for you to just be yourself no matter what. And if you want to be alone, then be alone. And if you're avoiding contact with other people because you think they won't like you, then stop that. Just go anyway, because you probably don't like some other people who still are around and still go out all the time. So if that's your situation, then don't worry, because I think if you're in that kind of circle where everyone is judgmental of each other, then it's not just you who's being judged, it's everyone, you know? Personally, I would like to stay completely out of those kind of circles, so I would recommend enjoying your alone time. But if you want to go out in those kind of situations, then just know that everyone's judging you and everyone else. So you shouldn't feel like singled out. And if you have to, like, say it's for networking, for example, say if you are a creative person, which I'm seeing with the Princess of Wands that you probably are, especially with the Ace of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles. I think you guys are building something. Yeah, I think you're independent and you have a lot going for you. And I think you're in the process of confronting the things you don't like so much about yourself and where you feel like maybe you're not a good friend or you've not been the best to your family members. I feel like you're confronting all that. And it's good for you being alone. And I feel like you do have time for the people who are good to you and who care about you and who you genuinely care about. And I feel like you're able to still go out and do all the kind of fake socializing when you need to. But overall, you're focused on your own goals, your own business, your own money, your work, your home, your family, and not what other people are doing. I definitely see you confronting your shadow side. Yeah. And integrating it and looking at how sometimes you need to let the wild part of yourself out. And sometimes you might have to kind of be fake, and you might be in the situations where you're fake. But I see you trying to avoid those situations as much as possible and being comfortable in environments where you're comfortable and you can kind of let your darker side out in order for you to be able to heal it and not have to hide it away. Because I feel like you guys want to go out more and you want to come out of your shell more, and maybe you do need to network for some reason. Or maybe you just want a relationship. I definitely see you're in a stage of your life where your material resources are very important to you, and also having fun is very important to you. And I feel like you don't have too much serious stuff happening right now. I feel like any relationships you're in are kind of non-committed, but they're very spiritually connected. It's like friends and family and dating, but it's all with people who you feel. Other than these snaky people who you're trying to avoid, I see there's really deep, deep connections with people. So I'd say focus on going out more with those people and kind of turning away from the snaky fake people. And consider what kind of friend you are, what kind of partner you are, and working on if for some reason you're like afraid to socialize, then work on that. Figure out why that is. What is it? What is it that you're afraid of? And get out and explore and push your envelope a little bit, if that's you. But for most of you, I'm seeing this being alone is great, and you should stay alone and explore and focus on yourself. Focus on this is what you are doing. You're focusing on yourself. You're focusing on your creative hobbies. You're focusing on making money and having fun with your friends, your genuine friends, not the snaky fake people. So Group 6, I hope you enjoyed your reading. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And I hope to see you again soon in another reading. Thanks for watching. Bye.